Joining me today is Hari. How you doing today, man?
Well, as we've already established in the stream, but I guess not for the VOD, I am not doing so well. But fortunately, whenever people hear this VOD, hopefully I will be healthy by then. So technically, at the time in which they will be hearing this, I will be perfectly healthy, and therefore I can respond that I am doing quite excellent. Thank you, Cap.
Or you could be dead. You could have died from your illness by then. So
I swear to God, I will
either
find
way,
the makers of those paprika chips as a ghost and kill them, or haunt them very seriously as a ghost. Damn you, paprika chips.
So you're going to be the ghost haunting the zoo. I like it. All right, well, we already got some bans and picks going down. DotA2hook banning out Syllabear, Invoker, and Darkseer, while Team Empire banning out Lycan, Beastmaster, and Windrunner. So pretty typical bans. We still have the Leshrac and the Furion out, which is picked up. Furion being picked up by DotA2hook, and then followed up by Chen Leshrac by Team Empire. And then the 2-3 for DotA2hook is Shadow Shaman Enchantress. So quite a pushing squad they already got going on, which is going to be countered by Team Empire's Sand King pickup. So they got a nice little bit of AoE already between Leshrac and Sand King. But hopefully that's going to be enough. Right now, DotA2hook, look, I mean, they're just straight out the gate, full-on push. And it looks like that. I mean, when you start out with that many pushers early, I mean, that's usually you just fully commit to it and just go on all-man early game, mid-game, and just push squad and just hope you end the game by 35 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these picks are about as standard as it gets. There's really no deviation here, and not really anything too exciting to talk about. Both teams have a lot of push. Obviously, the Radiant has more, and we'll have to see if Leshrac does end up going the Stun Edict build, which is kind of the more standard European build, or if he goes the max Chain Lightning, or a Lightning Strike, whatever it's called in this, which is kind of the more Russian style and is stronger against pushing. So we'll kind of have to see how they decide to play that. The only real surprise here was actually that Tide was not picked or banned in the first set of bans or picks. He actually made it to the second set of bans, which is a little bit unusual. I'm kind of surprised that maybe Rasta wasn't replaced with a Tide pick and then try to hope to get the Rasta later on. But
or Sand King, man. Yeah, when it comes to melee initiators, in my opinion, Tide is absolutely the best. That ultimate is just so amazing. So amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty... Oh, and a Panda ban. So, yeah, well, Panda would fit well into the early push lineup, because obviously Panda really only needs one item to be effective, which is that Blink. And then, I mean, he can blink and cause havoc when they're trying to take down towers very effectively. Obviously, getting Aghanims is just a nice bonus. But yeah, so we'll kind of have to see how these round out here. I mean, I expect some sort of a carry hero to come out for DotA2hook here, maybe something like a Mirana, Slardar, Dragon Knight, kind of your typical carry pushers. And then meanwhile, Empire, kind of how they're going to pick from here is going to dictate whether they are just going to try to turn this into a pushing battle using the Leshrac and Chen advantage, or whether they're going to kind of be willing to mellow out and take a late game advantage, which is kind of tough to say against Nature Prophet. Obviously, the support pick doesn't really dedicate much. There's still, I don't know, a lot of room for decision-making at this point from both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I always forget about the Panda. And I don't know, it's just he's added recently and that sort of thing. But I'll just be like, yeah, there's these heroes left in the pool, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, I'll see Panda picked up or banned, as it was in this case. And I'll be like, oh, I completely forgot about him. Because in my opinion, top pick right there. Panda definitely, and maybe, you know, it's okay him making it through the ban pool and not necessarily being first pick, but definitely worthy of a 2-3 in my opinion. We're going to see a Bane pickup. Not seen a whole lot of Bane recently. Actually just once in a really weird tri-lane situation from yesterday, which was incredibly odd. But Hari, any insight into what this Bane's going to be bringing in?
Whatever it is, I don't like it. Well, you've got Furion, who has trees, and Enchantress, who's in theory going to have creeps, and all of these can take off the sleep, which is kind of the thing that matters the most for Bane. So, I mean, then you're basically, what exactly is it you're picking her for, an ult? When, I mean, there's two heroes who can easily disable between the Vengeful Spirit and Rasta. I don't know. I don't really think the Bane brings anything effective, but it's probably some sort of a pocket strategy coming out from Empire here. And I mean, we've certainly got some high skill players on Empire. I mean, this is a really fun team to watch in general. So I assume they're going to do something with it. I mean, if I had to guess, they're going to win anyway. So I'm going to eat my words for how ineffective this Bane pick is, but we'll see exactly what it is they try to do with it. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, with the picks already in, like you normally when I ever see Bane, it's some cheesy ass pick. It's always cheese. It's always Bane Marana, Bane Kunkka, one of those two. Which usually Shadow Demon fulfills the role much better in that cheesy fest. But in this case, I mean, it definitely looks like he's going solo mid. You can't really with a Chen pick in. I don't really foresee unless they're running like a solo Sand King. I don't really see them running this Bane in a solo lane, which is kind of weird because, like I said, in a cheesy, Bane Pudge. I didn't even list that one. But that one is a potential lane. It's just that's not really going to be, a lane. You know what I'm talking about? It's just...
Yeah,
I don't know, not effective.
Well, it's a combo, I guess, that they're going to be looking to do in like the mid game when they're pushing. They're going to sleep someone and hook because obviously they're not going to be able to do it as a lane here. I assume I guess send. I don't know if they'd send the Pudge mid and the Bane top or the Bane mid and the Pudge top, but either way, I would expect it to be something like that with obviously the aggressive dueling. We had one disconnect out, but I assume he'll be coming back. Hopefully, since everyone else is still here.
I'm guessing the Bane is going to be going top with. Versus the suicide lane, I think he will be able to, especially the chase down is much more helpful to him. I think Pudge has, unless they're really going to go for rune control here, I think Pudge is going to have a much better situation in middle, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, generally speaking, though, I don't really like playing or having the Pudge against the Shadow Shaman because Shadow Shaman with Hex can basically make it so the Pudge should really never be able to kill him. Because obviously Hex does give you enough time to get out of Rot. With actually, if you're good enough at it with just one level, but I mean, even if you're not very practiced at doing it, you can just get 2 levels in Hex and forego the 1 point in Shackles, which I mean isn't ideal, but will still work effectively enough to prevent you from getting killed by the Pudge should he land a good hick. So
what I was thinking was because the tri lane offensive tri lane, you're probably going to have some roamers going into middle, and then that's why. But we'll have to see what the lane's up here. They might change them up, but presumably with these two solos, neither one of them is going to do well in a suicide lane, unless they're going to do some really weird, funky strat that we haven't thought of, like, suicide lane, Sand King, and then have Bane laning with Leshrac or something at top. It's probably what we're going to be seeing. And then over on the Radiant side, let's go over and I'm always forgetting about this, but let's go over who's playing what, top to bottom, left to right. On Team DotA2hook, we've got Rambi playing Enchantress, playing Bounty Hunter, GGGG on Shadow Shaman. I got Baus on Vengeful Spirit and Slasher on Nature's Prophet. And you want to cover the Dire team?
Yeah, sure. On Pudge, we have Fei V. On the Chen is Rav War. I should probably know some of these players' names a little bit better than this, but I do not. Happy Now playing Leshrac. Bane being played by Scandal, who is a player I certainly know and love. And then Long...
Unacceptable. Pronounce it.
Borishnikov?
That actually sounded Russian. That was good enough. All right? You made a Russian word, and that is good enough. Well, Russian-sounding word. I don't know. Was it actually a word?
I think it's a name, actually. Borishnikov was a politician.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that sounds like some important historical figure that I should know.
Yeah, I think I learned about it at some point, but I don't really remember,
Exactly. All right, well, so we're going to have a 4-man crew of Team Empire running through the jungle right now, and it does already look like they're setting up for a offensive jungle. Bane is going to be solo mid, and that means the not suicide lane. Solo safe lane, Pudge, is what's going to be happening. We got the Bounty Hunter going to be going top, and I'm not really sure what Team DotA2hook is going to do here with their Enchantress and Vengeful Spirit. They don't really need Bounty Hunter to... he doesn't really need a babysitter at top whatsoever. So the question is Venge going to sit in middle, helping out the Shadow Shaman, or is he going to go bottom, which typically we don't see Nature's Prophet with anybody. But Nature's Prophet does already have some interesting items. He has a set of Tangos and Null Talisman. So... I don't know, typically when you see him in a solo lane, more likely suicide solo lane, a lot of times he gets boots just because it helps out a lot. And I figured, if you're going to be doing a solo lane of Nature's Prophet, that would probably help out a lot anyway, having boots. But it looks like they're going to run Venge with them, which is interesting to say the least. What do you think about that?
I assumed the Venge was going to be double jungling with the Enchantress, but actually that's not the case. Yeah, this is pretty unusual. I don't really like it. Well, the reason why he doesn't have boots here is obviously you get boots in the top lane, so you can make it back to your tower faster when you see the people coming in the side with the trees. Here, he shouldn't have to run back to his tower faster because he should be right by his tower already. However, they actually screwed that up because they actually blocked the creeps in the bottom lane, which, for anyone that doesn't know, is something you should never ever do. In your safe lane, which for the Radiant is the bottom lane, and for the Dire is the top lane. Oh, missed the action mid.
Nah, it's okay. First Blood actually went down. Sand King, of course, just got it stun off. And then Bane, with his illusions, was just able to beat him down and use Brain Sap, which does so much damage. So much pure damage. They didn't even need the Gen. He had the Tornado coming around, but it did very little damage.
Enchantress there jumping. I'm not going to move either.
Oh, man. I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised Leshruck actually got, in any terrible situation there. Sand King is looking for a stun on this Enchantress. Enchantress stops moving now, and they might be able to finish her off from a nuke from the Satyr. There goes the nuke, and it's barely the heal saving him. Now Shadow Shaman's in the mix, trying to do what work he can, but with all these creeps, Enchantress getting mobbed down by Scandal, picks up that kill with the Brain Sap, and now 0-2 already, and the Shadow Shaman with no health whatsoever. Furion's going to be teleporting in. They're going to get counter kill on this Chen, who chased way too far. I'm presuming that just was an accident, a micro. Probably should have just had the creep chasing around. Now, actually, Sand King's in a little bit of trouble. Venge Full of Spirit doesn't actually have enough mana for a second stun. And top of that, there's now an Invis being picked up by him right before he pops a potion. So he's going to be in a good position to get yet another gank, possibly on middle once again. Already very, very low at half health.
Yeah, a ton of movement so far in this game. Definitely exciting to watch. Certainly fitting the Russian style, which is what we'd expect. Actually, the Sand King Invis, yeah, this is going to be a really dead Rasta Brain Sap to finish her off.
And really, they should have known that. They saw him pick up the Invis. They have wards, and they also had the Vengeful Spirit right there. They really should have. He really just should have sat back. But maybe a little bit of miscommunication. By the way, Team Empire, I haven't really followed them so much, but obviously Scandal and Favi I recognize. Is that the only two players from the Han Team Empire?
I think so. I actually can't say for certain. Oh,
actually, action in middle. Bane does not have the mana for Brain Sap. One more hit. There it goes. Rasta picks up that kill. So they do finally get a counter kill on this Bane, who was getting so many levels. Even after that kill, he's still a full level higher than this Shadow Shaman. That just goes to show how well they're crushing middle right now.
Yeah, I guess Lean is, but like I said, I was certain that there were more, but I'm not really, I don't know who they are, and I certainly can't read. In fact, I guess I should have checked their aliases before this game started, but I did not, so I don't know. Good old Steam.
Well, as it stands right now, we might be following them anyway to the second game, so we can always check then. But right now, Chen moving into his own jungle now. Not going to fight the Enchantress for her jungle anymore. They got the kills that they needed initially, and I don't know. It looks like he's going back into that jungle, he only has a Weldkin, so I'm not really sure if I would advise, especially, oh man, Pudge picking up that Bounty Hunter kill. That is rough. When you don't have any, he just hit the hook and with the rot, but still, without cannon wards, that should really never happen to you.
Yeah, no, I think Bounty Hunter solo side against the Pudge is an extremely favorable lane for the Bounty Hunter, so it's really disappointing to see, obviously, the Pudge get a kill there. Really shouldn't happen, but Favi, very skilled side lane solo player, so I guess that would explain it. Can I see? Actually, I want to say that this Furion actually does have the boots now that you were looking for, since he is still down here stuck soloing for a while. He's actually gotten 2 points in Sprout, 2 points in Teleport. Pretty unusual to get the second point in Sprout. Really doesn't do much, so I'm not really sure why you would get it instead of just going 1 more point in Teleport or 1 more point in Nature's Call, but has done that nonetheless. What do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. It only does something if the other team doesn't buy, an axe, one of the tangos, or even just a teleport. Any three of those items counters the Sprout incredibly well. So unless the other team is not paying attention, an extra level of Sprout isn't going to do anything, pretty much. So
yeah. Usually you just use the Sprout to kind of to catch the person, use the other abilities, use other people's abilities on them, not really counting on them actually standing in the trees the entire time. And I think Furion actually backs up quickly enough as opposed to the Sand King, only level 2. The Sand King does have boots though, so it'll be really easy for him to catch people. But yeah, and actually also obviously the Sand King can burrow strike out, and the Leshrac can stun the trees to kill them. So lots of ways to get out of those trees. Really question that. But looks like Enchantress is going to come in here for the gank. But no, I guess they're just going to push. Kind of wondering why she didn't try looping around with that centaur from behind. I think with the 3v2 here, they probably could have gotten a kill on Leshrac, but decided they want to brute force push instead. I don't know.
Yeah, now with the kill that Pudge picked up on the Bounty Hunter, as well as Bane actually came and tried to get a little gank for him, Pudge is a full level ahead.
Bane gonna get a kill in the mid on the Shadow Shaman, just using his ult.
Oh no, and I didn't even see that. He's level 7 now. Pudge is level 7 as well, so they're just destroying both their mid lanes, mid and top lane. Only lane that's doing decently well right now is actually pushing bottom. They're pushing in with the trees now. You know, no levels in only one level in Nature's Call might have been able to do a lot more damage with, you know, just the extra tree. You know, so I don't know, just that extra level in Sprout kind of disappointed me right now. He does already have treads though, so that's going to be rather helpful. And we're going to see probably, I mean, they won't really be able to push now that it's 3 up again. Leshrac hitting a nice little stun, unfortunately. Okay, now he's going to pop the Edict, but he runs into the Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman hit a nice gank. Can he teleport away in time? He pots the heal. And is he going to get out? No, it's not a high enough level, and so he dies right before the teleport. He comes in. That's Sand King. Nice little stun on Vengeful Spirit. Chen goes down as well now, and now Sand King is stuck. He's going to have to walk away once they back off here. But fortunately, none of DotA2hook have any sort of counter vision as it stands right now. So,
yeah, first of all, that's before finishing treads on your Furion. When you're playing against any hero with invisibility, you absolutely should have dust for sentries on that Furion. Because since you're going to be anywhere that a fight's happening, you can pretty much guarantee that your team always has that. Even if he doesn't buy it himself, someone on his team should have bought it for him. So I mean, that's definitely a mistake. And then also a mistake. What was that Vengeful Spirit doing? Still chasing after there. She had actually no mana for a stun. She does mana for another howl, but she does or wave. But she certainly doesn't need to use that or from close range, and just opened herself up to getting stunned by the Sand King for really no reason. Kind of a questionable play by her. But they are going to get this tier 1 tower bottom thanks to the Rust Awards.
Come on, Leshrac, hit that deny. I know you want to. Oh, he doesn't even attempt it, but it would have been extremely hard and rather lucky if he did pick it up. But we're going to see Furion teleporting top now, trying to help out this Bounty Hunter. Maybe he cancels it. Enchantress is there as well, so maybe we're going to see Furion teleporting behind. We are. Bounty Hunter going to jump on him, throws his ult now, and Baby, canceling his ultimate, chooses to run away, misses the hook now. It looks like he could be boned, except Bane's going to come in. Can he sleep the Pudge? Oh, I was really hoping he could sleep the Pudge there for a deny. Now Scandal's going to have to back up now. 1v3, can't really do anything else. That's the one thing about Chen is a really active team, especially with a Furion. You're already pretty much losing yourself on one hero. Unless Chen's in a really good position, you know, he's not going to be able to teleport and help out for ganks at all. Bane picking up that kill on Enchantress, that's a little bit surprising. I mean, there were
Bane's
just 3 heroes there.
Thanks to bottling.
Oh, dear. I mean, that is the power of a Bane, just being able to easily disable 2 or 3 heroes and pick them off one by one. Scandal just working on the last hits near, and is going to be able to pick up that kill. So a double kill for Scandal. He's doing very well so far in this Bane.
Yeah, well, actually another thing by Scandal, he's actually opting to max Nightmare rather than just leaving 1 point in it, so I guess that, I don't know. I mean, with all the ways to take it off heroes, I would expected him only to stick with 1 point in it to get the stats instead, but I don't know, I'm not going to question Scandal. Obviously he's playing quite well, but again, like I said, I think this is more has to do with to defend myself as much as possible, a skill discrepancy rather than this pick being necessarily that strong. I think, I mean, basically any ganking hero would be working pretty well here, although, I don't know, I mean, Bane is obviously good against any other strong mid, because Bane can beat pretty much any mid 1v1, which obviously worked out well for them. And speaking of mid, the mid tier 1 tower going to just melt to is that level 3 to, yeah.
Yeah, in exchange, though, they might pick up the top tier 1 tower. It looks like they're not going to be in position to be able to defend this, and they're already going to have a whole bunch of trees and creeps on the tower before anybody gets there, as well as wards. So they're definitely going to try and get this tower. Pudge is creeping in from behind. If he hits a good hook here, they might be able to defend this tower. They just really need a number advantage. Unfortunately, the creep wave comes in right as he tries to hit a good hook, and the tier 1 tower does go down. The question is, are they still going to force a fight here? I don't think that's really a good idea. They are going to go 3-manning from behind. Really, they still have the wards up, so they can always back up to that. Edict is being popped, and they're going to pop the Leshrac instantly. They're going to also take out Bane, hopefully, with a Brain Sap, getting Nightmare himself. There he goes. Nice little Nightmare, but is it going to be enough? Teleport goes off, and it does not go off in time. They crush him before that. Furon is now going to teleport and try and catch this Chen. There it is, and now a Sprout is going to go off. He does have one tank, so he eats away. Oh, Pudge, nice little hook. He's going to pick up that Nature's Prophet easily. Great job. Really good use of the terrain, backing him off right up against that wall like that. Very well done. So even if there was a Hex over the cliff, he definitely would not have been able to get out. Very well done by that Pudge.
Yeah, that was some good play by the Pudge. Obviously, the Dire had a good idea there. They were trying to... I mean, the Radiant I thought the Radiant were actually in a bad spot, because they basically had to, I thought at least, hang out by the wards long enough to kind of stay in a decent position, because you could see that the Dire knew, or felt at least, that if they could catch the Radiant away from the wards, that they'd be able to win the fight. But actually, the problem was that I think it was the Sand King, actually, that was the first one to run in there. Just got bursted down way too fast, wasn't able to contribute a stun or any damage to the fight. And that was basically what won it for the Radiant.
Was it the Sand King or was it the Leshrac? I thought it was the Leshrac.
I thought the Leshrac was the one who... No, because the Leshrac was the second to die. He was the one who almost got teleported out. Remember?
Oh, yeah. No, that was the Bane. Bane almost got
okay, then it was the Leshrac that was the first one to die. Well, then that
yeah, because I remember thinking, why is the 700 HP hero with really good damage over time running into 4 of them when they could have just backed up the wards? You know, Edicts, you're just like, oh, shit. We either pop him or we just run away to wards, and then he can't follow, and then that's a useless edict. But yeah, questionable. We got Pudge is going to be able to pick up his pipe fairly soon, though, so that's going to be a definite turnaround in these team fights. Pipe is going to be absolutely huge. Just being actually, it's not that huge.
I was gonna say,
you got
it's actually
Shadow
not gonna be
Shaman's
that big.
After Shock. They have a lot of physical damage. I wasn't even looking at it, but they just have all physical damage pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to stop the Aether Shock, obviously, and the Prophet Ultimate's probably the largest amount of magic damage in the team fights.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like obviously getting Hood on Pudge is just so strong anyway. There's really no reason not to get Pipe. It's such a small opportunity cost that he might as well do it, which is why he's going to. But yeah, it's not going to give him a whole lot in this. But more important would actually be their mech. But I don't see that coming up anywhere, actually. Yeah, no.
Chen has...
Oh, Chen, yeah, it does have headdress already, so...
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit time coming, which is rather unfortunate. Usually, especially in a game like this, you would hope to see the mech much faster. But Chen, not able to do... he wasn't able to farm as well as he hopefully would have. Got really aggressive Chen early on, which paid off. I mean, they did have some really good ganks. Unfortunately, that just hurts Chen's farm a lot. Which is hopefully all right. As long as they don't lose too many towers here, they're going to see a Nightmare go off. Sand King wasn't going to put good position for 3 stuns, but he decides against it. Now they're going to just burst down this Vengeful Spirit. Easily picking up that kill. Teleport going off on Scandal. He's not going to be here for the Epicenter. Big Epicenter hitting 2 heroes, 3 heroes. Oh, Enchantress barely missing out. He almost goes now. Leshrac is in some serious trouble. Enchantress just needs one more nuke, but he goes down to the Brain Sap. Scandal's just crushing kids. Look at him. Knocks one hero out, disables the other, and then finishes off that extra hero. So very well done by Scandal once again. Picking off those heroes. I guess he teleported right back. He got teleported back by Chen and then teleported TP back. Right away, which is, I guess, lucky that he had the TP scroll not on cooldown.
Yeah, this is the thing. Going into the mid game, I was going to talk about it, but it actually happened a little bit too quickly in that fight. That obviously having Chen at this point in the game is kind of a lot stronger than the Enchantress. I know you personally don't like Enchantress because, and this is true, that Enchantress is very good in like the first 10 minutes basically, and then very good maybe after 35 or 40 minutes. But kind of in the between, not very strong at all, especially compared to Chen, who's actually, not no, he's pretty good in the first 10 minutes, but he's really good from like 10 minutes to 30 minutes, which is when in these team fights they're going to have probably more of an advantage, at least in regards to those 2 heroes. Although, I don't know, a lot to do with that fight. There were 2 sleeps, or 2 nightmares that basically went max duration. Like, Furion, the Dire doesn't really have a lot of AoE damage in the sense of, like, things that are just constant AoE. Like, Edict only hits one thing. The Epicenter is probably not going to hit the trees, and actually Chen is definitely dead here. Oh, maybe not. Chen's Creeper going to spot him out, but I don't think there's any way that Chen should make it out here. And yeah, Enchantress managed to get slowed down from the high ground. That's going to easily be... Oh, wow. Pops his ult. That's a little questionable. But maybe they're... No. Yeah, I don't know about that ult, but they're actually going to come here. The Pudge is going to look for Hook, but just short. Oh, wow.
Oh, baby.
Yes, got to be really happy about that one. But yeah, as I was saying, in the last team fight, Furion just needs to make sure that he keeps his trees around them when they're fighting, and just if someone gets slapped, just attack it with one of the trees, and that's basically going to counteract an entire ability from Scandal. But if he doesn't do that, obviously the long duration sleeps are going to be a big deciding factor. I mean, being able to disable someone for 7 seconds in a team fight is kind of absurd.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many times when Leshrac hitting a stun is a very, very key moment in team fights or initiating these fights, and just allowing a hero to just sit there for so long, just waiting for a Leshrac to be like, okay, now I'm ready to hit that stun. We're going to see middle tier 1 tower go down here. Can they get the deny? They miss out on that wards pick that one up, so Shadow Shaman gets a whole heap of gold there. A recent saw Pipe being picked up by the Pudge, so he has Arcane Boots and Pipe, so his farm is doing decently well. He has been able to pick up quite a few kills, and he already has an extra 2 strength from Flesh Heap, so that is always awesome. Barely missing out on that blind hook. Nice try.
Yeah, he wanted to make, a top 10 play there, but had hit it, but I guess not. Actually, Furion, I noticed, is going for the Necronomicon, which, by the way, we don't really have too much time to discuss the new icons, but a lot of them I really don't like. Some of them I do, and a fair amount of them I'm just kind of neutral on. But the Necronomicon actually looks pretty badass.
I was like most of them. I was like, oh, I hate this. Why did they change it? And everybody I talked to was like, no, these are great. I love them. And I was like, oh, god damn it.
Yeah, it's not just that, I don't know. I don't feel like that many of them are terrible, but it just feels like they weren't really an improvement. So I don't know why it was necessary for them to change them. You really want them just to be fixing things that need to be fixed, not. And I mean, I understand obviously people who fix bugs, it's different. Oh, that hook from Fudge. Nice
play. Oh, nice little nuke coming out from the Bounty Hunter, almost saving the Furion with that mini stun. But unfortunately, we see the rest of the Radiant team teleporting in here. Scandal might get caught out. Oh, no, they're not going to get aggressive whatsoever. I mean, with a Furion down 4v5, they can't really do a whole lot. And they should really just give up this tower. 4v5, unless they're going to lay down wards right away, they just got to just run away. And that you open yourself up to Pudge hooks. If he plays like that, Sand King maybe gonna go down here, 1 or 2 more hits, nice little stun, stopping the Vengeful Spirit, but he doesn't realize he has dust on him. He's backing away, Hand of God saving his ass, and now the Ward Trap, look at that Ward Trap, blocking in the Bounty Hunter, but they approached from a different area, and now that Ward Trap's not gonna do a whole lot. Pudge actually going down, Sand King, 1 more hit, Ether Shot goes off, and they pick up that kill. So 3 for 2, now 4 for 2. They're definitely going to pick up this kill. Shadow Shaman easily going to go down here. Maybe not. Leshrac getting crushed with the help of Furion. And now they're going to have to back up. Chen teleporting away, but he gets Ether Shots. And man, now I think that was a 3 for 4 now in the favor of the Radiant, I believe.
Yep, the Furion coming back in just in the end there obviously was definitely the only thing that saved them there. You're absolutely right, and I even wanted to call it out. Staying around like that in the tower, you're going to lose, just opening yourself up to getting hooked. That's one of the strong things, obviously, about having a Pudge on the opposing team on a pushing lineup, is that you kind of make it so that heroes basically can't hang around to deny or to slow you down at all, because if they get hooked and they get caught, and then they're dead. But fortunately, they were able to prolong that fight long enough. Ooh, actually, the Bane is probably going to catch the Furion here. Sprout, but he's not going to be able to sleep from the Sprout. Didn't actually have his ult anyway, so actually, even if he had caught him, I don't think it would have done enough damage to actually kill him or anything, but no. And meanwhile, though, the Pudge is actually going to go for this Enchantress top. Let's see if he can predict the hook. No, not quite. But yeah, I don't know. At least it worked out for them thanks to the Furion coming back, but they really shouldn't have. But pretty much the MVP there was the Shadow Shaman with that really nice ward placement. Was able to really just make the Dire take a lot longer to kill the Bounty Hunter, which prolonged the fight long enough for the Furion to come back in.
Yeah, and especially since the fact that they kept getting aggressive and the wards were just beating on people that whole entire time. I was really expecting them just to back off. Like, oh, okay, we got the Bounty Hunter kill. Let's just back away from those wards. But then they moved forward, and then they had to move backwards. And the whole entire time, wards were just beating on somebody. Every single time they were just attacking somebody. Oh, nice little pickup. Bounty Hunter, of course, track. Too good against Invis heroes. Nothing he can do. I like the build so far on Bounty Hunter, going for the Jangos. And then I like to see BKB right after this. Django's just so helpful to your team. I mean, first of all, track is amazing. The best part, in my opinion, is the extra movement speed that you give to all your allies right after the extra gold. The extra gold is just insane. You get so much gold. If you get a 5-man if 5 people die on the other team and you have a track on every single one of them, it's like a long team fight. It's just an amazing amount of gold. It's just stupid. They're going to pick up the tier 2 here. And looks like the Dire is going to try and get aggressive and try and get some counter kills on some towers, but they're already teleporting in. Bounty Hunter in a good position. They're going to be able to pick off this Chen. Furion just canceled his teleport once again and is not going to go in. I'm not really sure why he canceled it. They really could have picked off that Chen rather easily, especially since the Pudge was split there.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they were just a little bit afraid there because they wouldn't have had any creep support. They would have had to dive past the creep wave, and Furion actually did have his Necronomicon on cooldown, so he really wouldn't have had a lot of damage. He didn't have his ult, didn't have Necro, so they wouldn't have really had a ton of burst damage, actually, with the 2 heroes, and they were afraid maybe that they would have been able to turn it around on them, Chen having the ult, and obviously Pudge still having the ult. Pudge actually throws out a random dust, thinking the Bounty Hunter might be standing on top of him, but was not. What is Pudge going on? Pudge is going for drums himself, so there will be drums on both sides. And yeah, the movement speed, I agree with you that stacking that with the drums is just a great strategy with the Bounty Hunter. And obviously, yeah, the great thing about having Bounty Hunter on your team is you're perfectly happy to have a game where you're 14-17. I mean, as long as you're not down on towers, as long as towers are basically even, which it more or less is actually the Radiant actually does have a tower advantage, so that's nice. Although actually even on gold, so I mean not as perfectly fair, but basically what I'm saying was that trading hero kills is perfectly acceptable when you have a Bounty Hunter, because obviously you're going to come out ahead on gold thanks to all that bonus track gold, if the Bounty Hunter does a good job of getting track up, which he's not done a terrible job at.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and look over the gold graph real quick. We got sorry, I'm losing my voice here. Completely neutral now. After those last couple team fights, completely neutral. It was in the favor of the Dire for quite some time, but like you said, Bounty Hunter track just gives an amazing amount of gold, so incredibly helpful. Looking at the items here, a couple items we got picked up. BKB now on Shadow Shaman. Of course, Necronomicon now level 2 on Nature's Prophet. Mech being picked up by Chen finally, and of course we saw that Force Staff being put to use earlier on Bane. And really, I think that's about it. Leshrac is going to be having that point booster, so probably going to be going for that Bloodstone. Though I have yet to see what we used to see a lot of times was Aghanims being built on Leshrac real quick and getting an extra vitality booster. That was a long time ago. I think it was back when Aghanims gave a lot more damage. But I remember just watching that, and that just ticked in my head. I don't know, something about point booster first, just Aghanims. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if he ends up not, I mean, I expect he'll certainly go for the BKB next. Although maybe not necessarily, since the Dire Radiant doesn't have a ton of magic damage, but I still expect that he would. Just getting the point booster quickly is just such a nice item. I mean, it's really, like, if you can afford to, if you can somehow fit a point booster somewhere into your build on a hero at some point in the game, then buying it early is just great, because it gives basically the 2 things that you want early on in the game, which is health and mana. So, I mean, he has the option, obviously, to go disassemble the Arcane Boots and make a Bloodstone. Which he might do now. I mean, with 2,100 gold, it's a possibility, or maybe he'll just go straight into the BKB. Against this team, I really could see it going either way. Obviously, being able to dodge the stun from Vengeful and all the disables from Roster are pretty important, because he really does have to run into fights. But at the same time, having the Bloodstone would be nice, since he has gone for Max Lightning Storm build, which means he can spam a lot of damage. Actually, there is going to be a smoke gank here from the Radiant. I think they actually should probably catch the Dire here if they get a little bit lucky on this one, although it depends who they're going to go for. If they go for the Pudge, it might actually turn out pretty poorly for them.
Yeah, especially with the pipe. He's going to last for quite some time. He does actually have a gem, so if they do pick him off solo here, they are going to go in for the Roche. And they're going to start jumping on this Pudge. The question is, can they pop him? No, there goes nice little push stick coming out from Scandal. And now it's going to be a full-on teamfight nightmare going off. Gets canceled now. And Gall trying to save big Epicenter. Look at that Epicenter. Level 11 cleaning up. And Chancer's trying to get away now. Ultimate on the Shadow Shaman. Great job by Scandal. Really excellent crowd control all around. They're going to be able to pick up that kill in just a couple seconds now. And Enchantress is going to go down as well. Bounty Hunter's trying to get away from that last track. He is going to be just fine. And Shadow Shaman teleporting away. What a play. I actually figured he was dead and looked down at the Bounty Hunter to make sure he was okay. But teleporting away, nice little hex. Very well done. But unfortunately, Team Empire's losing no heroes. Targeting the Pudge, who had Pipe, and also Hand of God up, first of all. And then that real clumped up group area of that little area is just a fodder for Sand King just to hit a big ultimate, especially with his Blink Dagger now. So just that fight just was all around lots of bad ideas. If they caught out anybody else besides Pudge, could have gone their way. But the fact that they were targeting Pudge right off the bat, not really a good start.
Yeah, it just comes down to map awareness. I mean, if you look where they have the wards up, they could tell that the Dire wasn't anywhere on the top half of the map, so they knew the Dire had to be in the bottom. So there were basically two possibilities. One is that the Dire was in Roche, the other was that the Dire was smoke ganking through the Radiant jungle. If the Dire was smoke ganking through the Radiant jungle, though, Pudge certainly wouldn't be in the mid. So going on the Pudge there, you have to expect that the Dire was sitting in Roche, and you've got to know that you can't kill him quickly enough with Pipe on him. I mean, if it hadn't been for the clutch Force Staff, there's a possibility you pick him off, but even then, you're still so clumped up that I think you lose the fight. And that's the tendency that players always have when they get close to killing someone. They're like, "Oh, we got him, just get him," and you kind of stop paying attention for a second to where you're standing, and then that's exactly what happens there. Also, the Bounty Hunter, actually, I watched him in that fight and was doing a really bad job of making sure that he had track on the target that he was hitting. Like, he got track up on 2 targets, but then he kept having to switch targets because the Leshrac was going down first, which was actually obviously a good priority target after they switched off the Pudge. I mean, being able to take down that Leshrac as quickly as possible. But while he was hitting the Leshrac, he had the track up on the Chen, so he wasn't getting that bonus negative armor on the Leshrac, which actually probably would have been maybe the difference maker. I'm not really sure if -3 armor. I mean, just from his attacks alone, probably not, but maybe with his team as well. So I don't know. You just got to do a little bit better job of that, and then maybe they would have been able to turn the fight around. But I don't know. It's going to be tough for them at this point. Obviously, that fight was a huge swing, basically, putting them back down 4,000 gold, and they're going to have to defend this. Well, probably not going to be able to defend this tier 2 tower here, but going to have to hopefully get a pick off maybe afterwards.
Yeah, adding on to what you're saying, just the fact that he has Medallion of Courage as well, he really needs to be, I mean, especially if he's going to go Medallion like that, in team fights, you really have to make sure that you're targeting only one hero and that you're bursting him down, because otherwise you're just subtracting your armor and not using it very well. You have to stack that track and Medallion and just try and burst down a hero with all that physical damage that you provide. And it looks like we might potentially see someone get caught out here. They're trying to 3-man this Ancient stack, and they do have vision of it. Now they're going to jump in. Sand King, BKB is popped. Nice little crowd control going down. Sand King jumping over the cliff as well is going to be teleported away. So Leshrac is the only person who's going to go down here. But he was the person with the H, and he's easily going to get kicked off here. We're going to see the Hex followed up by all the damage as well as the track. Nice hook coming in for the Pudge, and they might save him. Nice swap by Vengeful Spirit. Keeps the Leshrac in range, so they trade the Bounty Hunter for Leshrac as well as the Aegis. They don't actually pick up the Chen as well. Unfortunate. The Necronomicon, I don't know, he does still have a little bit of mana here. If they can get like the mana drain off and a couple more shots, they might be able to kill him. Look at how low he is. But no, looks like he is going to get out just fine. So they do at least pick up the Aegis. Nice job.
Nope,
oh, what? Oh, that's what it was. I thought the range creep had already died. I thought both of them had already died, and I was like, what? How did he get that kill? But still, great job, Furion, throwing down that ultimate with Division from Necronomicon.
Yeah, you got actually used the mana burn one last time from the range creep, and then threw out the ult, and it was, yeah, just enough to kill the Chen. So yeah, nice play there by the Furion, knowing to keep Vision long enough to get his ult back off cooldown. Does have that Necrobook 3 now, which Necrobook 1 looked awesome. Necrobook 3 looks a little ridiculous actually. So I'm going to kind of rescind my previous statement of liking this new icon as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's funny, but I don't know. The Harry Potter reference, is it really necessary in Dota 2? I'm not really sure.
So real quick question. Is it the art style? Do you like my personal deal with it is a lot of the art that they have for the items I don't think really gels with the current art that they have for the game.
I agree.
Okay, good. I said that and so many people just blew me off. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, yeah. Well, oh well. All right, so it looks like we're going to see
Pudge, huge blind hook.
Pudge hitting these Favy, really great job. Unfortunately, getting sort of terrained there. Had some misclicks, but Sand King is going to be picking up his Aghanim shortly, so on top of the Blink Dagger, he's just going to be doing serious work. Gem as well as a Plate Mail now on this Pudge. Leshrac does pick up his, no, he doesn't actually have his Bloodstone. Oh, he's grabbing it right now from the Secret Shop, so that is going to be a serious help if they can pick up some extra kills, and potentially, like you said, I'm not sure if Leshrac's going to go for BKB after the Bloodstone. You know, I would assume that if he was going to go it, like you said, it would be point booster straight to BKB and then Bloodstone after that. But he does have the potential to pick up TP boots. I'm really surprised he didn't break the arcade boots. A lot of people,
those. I don't think he'll be going the TP boots. I don't know.
Yeah, since he's not doing that. Yeah, since he's not for breaking the arcane boots, I'm thinking he won't be going for the TP boots. But I think it would just be so strong, especially given the fact that he doesn't have BKB. The potential for him to be popped is very high. He could just get targeted down, even though they have gem that's helpful and everything. He can still get targeted down in team fights, and just being able to teleport back in could be huge. But I don't know. We'll have to see. They're kind of running around the enemy's jungle now, picking up a haste. And looks like Sand King's going to be able to pick up his Aghanims off of his farm at bottom. So that's going to be huge, especially if he's able to hit 16 before the next team fight. That's just going to be a game changer right there.
Yeah, look at the wards the Dire have up here. Great vision on the Radiant side of the map, really taking control of this game at this point. The Radiant were really afraid there, obviously not having any vision up on the map now. Dire actually haven't been counter-warding a lot. I mean, they have the gem, which makes it a lot more difficult to place wards. Obviously, when the other team has the gem, you need to make sure that you place your wards up on hills that aren't normally visible, like the one they have actually placed a ward on now, as well as kind of like a couple other ones. I can't actually draw on the map, unfortunately, but I'm sure people who are listening probably know what I'm talking about. There's something else I wanted to bring up too, about something, but I can't remember actually what it was now. But yeah, the Leshrac, I don't know. I don't know why you would go Arcane Boots before. I mean, if you're just gonna buy, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I was gonna say if you were just gonna buy the Arc Bloodstone basically straight up and not use the Dissembling trick, I'd just go regular boots. But you actually can't go regular boots. If you bought the Energy Booster, you would get Arcane Boots. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't really know. But anyway, I actually have to be right back for just 2 seconds, sickness related. But
no worries.
I'm sure you can handle it. Be right back.
All right, so we are going to see a team fight, hopefully 5-on-5, trying to defend this tier 2 bottom tower, which is going to be, I think, a big mistake for DotA2hook. This bottom tower is one of the hardest towers to defend, first of all, because you have a ramp before the tower, which groups you up. And then on top of that, with the trees and everything, you just are in a very tight-knit circle, whereas Team Empire is a very open circle around this tower. So it's very hard to defend. They're going to jump on GGG, and he does not pop his BKD. Nice little swap from Vengeful Spirit, but unfortunately Sand King's going to clean up the swamped Shadow Shaman anyway. Now Sand King's taking a lot of damage. He's trying to back away from Chen, sealing the Necronomicon creep. Great job, and Sand King is going to be able to get out, and they pick up GGG is now going to die for a second time. He's going to go down. I'm not sure why I said second time. Did he buy back? I must have missed that. Either they just didn't pick him up. I have no idea. They are going to be able to take the tier 2. Of course. Right as the first time I have a question about a team fight, Hari is not here. Ah, what a bastard. Alright, so yeah, 3 heroes down. They're going to be able to do some decent damage to this tier 3, potentially even take it with the push that they got going on. Once Edict is up, they're just going to be crushing this tower. The question is, should they stay around for the next team fight? They've already blown a couple things. Bane Ultimate is going to be down. Hand of God is also down, as well as Epicenter. So I'm not really sure if they should force this fight. That could be bad for them. Fabi charging in, but he is so tanky. Sand King in a nice double stun with the blink. Really well done. Pudge is going to be able to grab the Bounty Hunter before GGG is even up. They pick up both kills. Nice little swamp trying to save his ally, but it's not enough. Bounty Hunter riding back in. And they do pick up the Pudge, denied actually, so the gem is down now. The question is, can they pick off the Lingerers? They do grab the melee rack, so all is well for Team Empire. They do not care because they grab the melee racks. They just hopefully will be able to get out now. Shadow Shaman does not have a blink dagger, so he's not going to be able to catch anybody out here. Nature's Prophet, unfortunately, teleport not really going to be reliable. Necronomicon does go down, and he goes up the ramp right into them. Huge misplay, and they pick up a double kill off of that one. Furion is also going to go down here. Nowhere for him to go. Once the Sand King stun is up, he is a goner. And pretty much what went from, trying to defend a tier 2 has been pretty much game. Trying to defend that tier 2 and losing the team fight so badly then results in a tier 3 going down. And then on top of that, them sort of getting caught out there before all their allies were revived and ready to go. Bounty Hunter and Vengeful Spirit dying before Shadow Shaman is alive. That was Rax. They could have been able to just stall them a little bit and just waited for the ally to go up, and I think they would have been able to save the melee racks and force a really good team fight with the ultimates that were all down. But they got picked off, and that's just a big problem. I see that a lot of teams teams that's what separates professional teams from competitive teams, is that they do little things like that. They know that they don't want to take unhealthy risks. Things like sticking around for a tower that you're not going to defend versus a Pudge. Those sort of things. What separates and could be game changing potentially. We're going to see Aghanims picked up on Pudge fairly soon, so he's going to be doing a whole heap of damage with that ultimate. I like the fact that he picked up a plate mail and isn't going for Assault Cuirass or Shiva's. He's just grabbing it just for the armor, and I really like that. There's obviously a lot of minus armor between Bench and Bounty Hunter, and really his job as a tanky hero is just be able to absorb all that damage, and there was a serious lack of armor, as there is a lot of times on Pudge. So very good pickup. He's going to be able to pick up Aghanims, like I said. Let's see who else. Let's go over items real quick. Goldgraft is over 15,000 in the lead for the Dire. On top of that, they do have the melee rack, so it's only going to get bigger with time. Aghanims on Sand King, I'm pretty sure he had that last team fight. In fact, I know he did. Of course, Bloodstone, Necronomicon, level 3 on Bane. Very well done. BKB now on Leshrac. So he's going to go that BKB after Bloodstone, which, seeing as he didn't disassemble Arcane Boots, is probably a smart move. You could have had either two options: to disassemble Arcane Boots and go for Boots of Travel and go for that, double Leshrac team fight sort of build, or go Bloodstone into BKB if he's going to keep the Arcane Boots. It just makes him so indestructible. Especially if you get it this late. Normally, BKBs, you want them faster, but this late, a 10-second duration of BKB is just going to be hilarious. I mean, he's just going to be running out 10 seconds, pretty much indestructible. And just crushing kids. And the fact that they already have the bottom racks down, I'm not really sure what DotA2hook can do at this point. They're just going to try and, presumably, it looks like they're pushing in the middle, but maybe it's just because they have such an advantage right now, they just want to push it. Especially with that Aegis. But normally you would have them push in through top. And that's because the split push, you have bottom constantly pushing in, and once they send a hero to defend bottom, that's when you force a team fight, 4v5. But that's not going to happen. They're going to try and pick somebody off here, but Pudge getting slowed by Enchantress, not able to hit a hook. Blind hooks going down. They actually just put up a ward, so not necessarily blind hooks. Pipe, they are going to go in with this pipe. With Hand to God, with Mech, with Aegis, there's just not a whole lot they can do to defend this. Enchantress taking away the Necronomicon Archer from Bane. Nice job. Then Chen grabbing it as well. Pudge, another huge hook. He picks off the Enchantress now. And GGG goes in with his BKB, and it gets canceled by Scandal. He's just doing great at work. Oh, man, Epicenter once again cleaning up all the heroes on the map. 4 heroes down. Furion's the only one left, and he doesn't have anything. GG's being called out. And so as Furion goes down, Team Empire is going to take round 1 versus DotA2hook. So they're going to go on to round 2 of the Play4dota2 Cup. I swear, all these tournament names sound the same, man.
Jeez, Cap.
Play Dota, Play4dota. Huh?
I leave you with a relatively balanced game, and I come back and it's already over.
Oh, I know, right? I'm crushing them. Well, right before you left, if you remember, they were both teams were grouping up at bottom, and I was saying that DotA2hook really shouldn't try and defend that because, like, as you know, that bottom tower is so hard to defend.
Especially against Sand King.
Yeah, Sand King with Epicenter, level 16, and Aghanims. Yeah, so that resulted in them dying. And because they died and they lost the team fight so hard, the tier 3 was definitely going to go down just purely because of that. But then after that, Bounty Hunter and Bench got caught out before their Shadow Shaman was back up. And so they weren't really ready for a team fight, and they got caught out. And so then because of that, they took Rax. And from there on out, I mean, that good of a team fight plus Rax. And then on top of that, they grabbed Roche. That's just what happens. 5 minutes, and all of a sudden the game completely changes.
You see the Sand King's items? He has Maelstrom and Chrysalis.
Wow, he picked up a lot of items at the very end there.
Yeah, what trolling, huh?
That's hilarious. Yeah. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and move on to round 2. Probably just going to take a real quick break.